What's up, everybody? Hey, my name is Dan. I have been asked to share with you a little bit about my discipline of simplicity, spiritual discipline of simplicity, as a part of our Summer of Simplicity journey that we've all been on. So in Mark 12, Jesus was teaching, and an expert in the law approached him and said, "Hey, of all the laws and stuff that we got to worry about, religious rules and regulations documented in Scripture, what's the most important?" Jesus said, "Well, glad you asked. The most important thing," which is important because Jesus understands that not all rules and regulations are created equal. There is a most important. He says the most important is to love the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it. It says love your neighbor as yourself. So all of Christianity, right, what it means to follow Jesus boils down to love. Simple in concept, in practice a little more tough, because oftentimes it's really tough to love those even close to you. And Jesus' ultimate challenge, as we see in other places in Scripture, like with the story of the Good Samaritan, for example, is to love your neighbor, which means truly to love your enemy. But that's the thing about simplicity. It's boiling things down to the main idea, the simplest, lowest common denominator. So if I know that as a Christ follower, the main idea is love, then I can bank all of my decisions on that simple core truth. So all the big decisions in my life, from career to place of residence to family decisions, things that feel significant, I don't have to wallow over, do I do this or do I do that? I ask myself, is it motivated by love? And if so, then you got the green light. It prevents you from having to waste too much time and energy thinking about things that don't matter. Another example is, say, with our tithe. I have a desire to be generous, right? The motive is love. Do I have to physically write a check and put it in the offering basket for it to count as generosity? I don't think so, because I'm equally motivated by love doing that as I would be to automate 10% automatically coming out of my paycheck, right? I want to guarantee that money goes back into the church, and so I automate it so I don't forget. I have 100% success rate when I'm automated, and maybe I'm hitting it 80% when I don't. When I handwrite that check, I might miss, right? And so automate your bills. What else can you template in your life? I eat the same thing for breakfast every morning. I never get a haircut. It's either I'm buzzed or I have long hair. I never pay for haircuts. Therefore, I don't have any other hair products that I have to worry about. I do have a pair of clippers, and I cut my own hair when I feel like it, but I don't pay for haircuts. You can template your wardrobe. It's kind of like the Steve Jobs wardrobe, where he had a black shirt and blue jeans, right? And that was all he ever wore. Similar, I'm not that strict, but t-shirt and pants is probably my quote-unquote brand. Speaking of branding, when I was first getting into graphic design, I had a font library of maybe 5,000 different fonts. And for some reason, I felt pressure to use 3 or 4 different fonts anytime I designed something. I felt like everything had to have a unique voice. And so I was really stressing over, do I use a serif font or a sans serif font? Do I use curls or brush script or Comic Sans? Never use Comic Sans. Or do I use, this handwritten font or this thick font? Or, it changed my life. Now, this may seem like an overstatement, but it changed my life when I finally decided that Ginghamsburg Church would have 2 font families, Libra Franklin and EB Garamond. Each of those font families had different weights, different thicknesses, some italic, some straight, but 2 font families. It took away all of the decision fatigue I was feeling around having to be creative with each and every unique thing that I was making. it's freeing. So simplicity like that is freeing. It removes the stress of decision making, and I think that's been really healthy for me. These acts of simplicity, these simple acts of simplicity, allow you the space and the freedom to focus on what's most important. So that's the question for you today, is what do you need to simplify in your life? What is your main thing? What's your one thing that you want to orient your life around? You know, if you orient your life around love, shoot, there's really not a whole lot else you need to worry about. Just ask yourself the question, is this motivated by love? And if it is, go for it. And if not, let your no be no, right? Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Hey, God bless. I hope this peek into my discipline of simplicity has been helpful in one way or another. Love you.